Good morning, Robin. TikTok is working this morning, but is it here to stay? I will have more on President-elect Trump's plans to try to save it coming up.
Plus, the first hostage, Schulze, is in Washington, has the latest for us. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hey, good morning, Robin. It's been whiplash for millions of TikTok users after the app briefly shut down over the weekend, then flipped back on. Now President-elect Trump is vowing to save it, but his options to do that under the law are limited. Now, TikTok, as of this morning, still isn't on the app stores of Apple or Google, so you can't download it or do software updates. And other apps owned by ByteDance, like the popular video editing app CapCut, are also not available right now. Guys.
Elizabeth Schulze, thanks very much. We have more breaking news to keep TikTok going. It's unclear exactly how he's saying he's going to do that.
Exactly. And look, right now, George, the law is the law. As Selena says, this was passed with bipartisan support, just upheld by the Supreme Court. So what Trump's options are to do that, ultimately he's saying it's going to come down to enforcement. What he has said is that he looks at that law and he's sending a message to some of the tech companies that work with TikTok. So companies like Apple, Google, Oracle, and says, yes, you are still liable under this law that was passed, but we are not going to enforce massive fines against you. In fact, we wouldn't enforce them starting yesterday. This would be retroactive, according to the post that Trump said, at least. How he can do that, the executive order is going to have to be very carefully crafted. And, George, I've been talking to these companies, a lot of tech analysts, people in Silicon Valley. They are worried that even though you have the word of Trump, the president, and the Justice Department, is that enough to really reassure some of the general counsels at those companies that they couldn't face fines down the line? The statute of limitations, George, on that law is 5 years. They could still be punished after Trump leaves office.
Elizabeth, we only have about 20 seconds left. He also seems to be suggesting perhaps that Americans could come in and buy TikTok, or maybe even the government?
Yes. Right, some sort of joint venture, potentially with the government involved in the stake, 50%. But what that looks like, if that's enough to fulfill the qualifications in the law, we don't know. Trump says he's going to have a lot of bidders come in. We'll have to see if those bids do start to come in the next couple of days and weeks, George.
We will be finding out. We'll be waiting for more later today. And, of course, we're going to be covering the inauguration.